Hey y'all, it's Dinorah, aka the Southern Belle of the South Bronx, and welcome back to my channel. So today we have a nice fall recipe. It's actually a drink. I'm actually making my own DIY pumpkin spice flavored boba pearls. And with those pearls, we're going to make a milk tea boba. So the actual boba, instead of it just being flavored with the tapioca flour, which that's what it's made out of, and sugar, I'm using tapioca flour, fresh pumpkin puree that I made, and pumpkin spice mix. And then the syrup that goes with the pearls, again, more pumpkin spice, more pumpkin puree. And then our tea is going to have British black tea, oat milk, and some ice. So let's get started. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with a pie pumpkin. This is like the pumpkin you would use to make pumpkin pie. Got this at Trader Joe's. You can just use pumpkin puree in a can, but I bought mine. Here I'm just showing you the inside. I gut it out, and then I'm just putting it on some parchment paper in the oven, 400 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. This is a 1.8 pound pumpkin, so about 2 pounds. It cooked really fast. It wasn't really that sweet, but that's okay because we're gonna sweeten this up. And then here I'm just making my puree by passing it through a fine sieve. So with my metal spoon, I'm just pressing it against the sieve to get this perfect puree. I got about 1.5 cups of the puree. So let's get started making our boba. So here we have 3 tablespoons of filtered water in a saucepan, medium heat. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of our pumpkin puree. I like using the sieve because I don't want any of the fibers in my boba. Here I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice mix. I like Trader Joe's because it has cardamom and lemon peel in it. I just like the flavor profile. And here I'm adding 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'll insert the sugar that I use here. It's just a very high molasses content brown sugar that I like to use. And here I'm just making sure that everything is incorporated. I let it heat up, bubble, and then I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of our 3/4 cup of tapioca flour. So I'm just here stirring this up, incorporating. There will be some lumps, but that's okay because we're gonna need later. So after you've incorporated the 2 tablespoons of tapioca starch, you want to turn off the heat so we can add the remaining tapioca flour. So in total is 3/4 cups of tapioca flour. We're going to add 2 while the mixture's still hot and on the heat. After that's incorporated, we're going to turn off the heat and add the remainder. And it's going to get a little messy, as you can see here. And I just want to incorporate most of the flour here while the pot is still a little warm. And then eventually I'm going to put this onto my mat and I'm going to get to kneading. Now, a fun fact about tapioca starch. So tapioca starch is actually made from cassava, the cassava root, which I also call and known as in my household as yuca, which is my favorite root vegetable. So that's pretty cool that boba comes from yuca. And as a Dominican, it's just like, it's a win-win for me. I was like, yuca all the time. So here I am kneading my boba dough. I'm just adding a little bit more of the tapioca starch. This is a little sticky. You can gauge how it feels to you if you try this recipe, just because, you know, tapioca flour is very sticky. So you just want to knead this very well so everything is homogeneous. And there we have our boba dough. So I just wanted to show you the tapioca flour that I use. I actually got this in the Dominican Republic, but you can get any tapioca flour from the supermarket. And next here we have the brown sugar that I like to use, Muscovado. It's delicious. So we're going to take some of our boba dough and we're going to now roll this out into a rope. As you can see here, I can't really tell you the size, but you should be able to gauge from the video. You just don't want it too thin. And then we're going to take a pastry cutter and just cut it into, I want to say like 1/2 inch pieces. And then we're going to give this a roll with our palms. So you can see here, if you see that it's sticky, you can just dust your area with a little bit of the tapioca starch. And here I'm just rolling, and here you have your boba pearl. So the one on the right is one that you would buy at the store that you would just boil, and then the one that I just rolled is a fresh one. So there you go. So here I'm just rolling. I have a glass bowl in the back, as you can see. I put a little bit of tapioca flour at the bottom. So you have your fresh boba. I have about half of my dough left over, so I decided to take a piece of that to make a giant boba pearl, which I'm going to taste later. And then I'm going to add my boba pearls into boiling water. I'm going to give it a stir, boil it for 10 minutes uncovered. It's going to float to the top. And then we're going to turn off the heat, cover it, set it aside, and let it sit for another 10 minutes off the heat. At this point, our boba is done. As you can see, look at that goodness. Perfect. So we're going to drain our boba pearls, put it back into the pot, and now let's create a syrup for it. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of our sugar, another half teaspoon of pumpkin spice, and another 1.5 tablespoons of pumpkin puree. And then we're going to add just a tad bit of water because it's getting a little thick. This is just to create a nice little syrup for our milk tea. And then please don't forget to add a dash of salt. This is just to balance off the sweetness. And here you have your boba all cooked and ready to be used. All right, let's assemble. Here I have some strong black tea, and I'm going to pour some of my boba into a glass cup, and then I'm going to give it a swirl so it has that iconic brown sugar boba milk tea aesthetic as you see at the boba shops. And then we're going to pour in some of our black tea. I used about a half a cup. Unsweetened, and then we're going to top this off with oat milk, but honestly you can use whatever milk you want, almond, cow, whatever you like. And there you have it, our pumpkin spice boba pearl brown sugar milk tea. All right, y'all, so you saw the recipe. Here's the drink. Oh my god, I'm so excited. This is my milk tea. This is, can we call it vegan? I mean, it's non-dairy. There's no cow's milk in here, only oat milk. And I forgot to add my ice. So let me just take a quick sip. Oh, that's yummy. And it was at this moment. But who cares? What's a Dinorah recipe if it's not messy? I just made a mess. Anywho, the show must go on. So anywho, like I mentioned, this is my boba pearls made out of pumpkin spice tapioca flour and pumpkin puree and sugar. And then I made a milk tea with some British black tea, some oat milk, and my boba. Let's give it a taste. I don't mean to be rude to chew with my mouth open. I just wanted you to hear the, what I think Japanese people call it QQ, like when it's like squishy. But this is so good. It's not so, I thought it was gonna be very sweet. I'm playing around with this recipe. This is my recipe that I created. I was just like, oh, that would be a great idea to have pumpkin spice boba pearls, right? So I was just like, oh, I'll start off with 2 tablespoons. You see the boba pearls? I got this giant glass boba straw from Amazon. I think I got, it was in a pack of 2 for like less than $10. Y'all, this is so good. If you're vegan, non-dairy, or if you like dairy, give this a try. Put cow's milk. I don't care what kind of milk you put in it, but try this boba recipe. I'm back. Sorry, my camera turned off. So as I was saying, you should give this a try if you love boba. If you want to try boba, it's actually very easy. It's time consuming. It may seem a little tedious because you have to roll each ball, but it's a nice experience. I love pumpkin spice all year long, so this is a treat. I'm glad my brain was like, hey, let's give this a try. If it fails, it fails, but I'm so glad it worked out. And I do have to say, this is my 3rd time making boba. The first 2 times I just did regular brown sugar. I actually like the texture of the homemade one because it's a little bit more squishy. Usually the one that you buy in store, do I have it here? I showed it in the clips with the recipe. So they come hard and you have to boil them and then let them sit and then cook them in the syrup. They can be a little hard, not hard, but just have a little bit more resistance. These are more squishy. So good. Oh, and if you saw in the clips, I made a giant one. Let me go see if it's ready. All right, this is the giant boba. This is the giant boba. Let's see what it tastes like. It's so good. That was really good. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll check you guys next time. Y'all be blessed. Bye.